Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back. We're going to go over the Fallout Science Precon today. At least the first part of it. We're going to go over the commander, and then get into the usual spreadsheets and stuff, and then take it card by card of their series in the next couple of videos. So, overall, I felt like this deck has potential to be fantastic, but I just could not get it rolling. And a couple of the bigger creatures that I found, like Liberty Prime and things that I was expecting to kind of be saving the day and stuff, kind of fell flat on me, and they didn't help me as much as I needed them to. Again, it could just have been my experiences with it, but I really felt let down by this deck. And I feel like all three of the other precons were able to get up and get going, and start actually functioning and doing things much faster than this one. But let's go ahead. I'll catch you in the next video. We'll look at the deck lists, and I'll let you guys come to your own conclusions. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Alright, jumping into the spreadsheets, I'm gonna just be honest with you guys. I don't like this deck. I don't feel like it was very well designed, and sure, somebody else might be able to get it to work, but I've played this deck a bunch of times now, and I haven't been able to get it to do anything consistently. And so when I took it apart, and I went to chart it, I had a hard time coming up with columns to categorize each card. So we have our default ramp, draw, control, protection, and utility, right? Well, going into this charting, I was like, oh, it's going to be an energy counter deck, like we were just talking about with the commander. So, energy counter, there we go. And I think as I was flipping through this, I saw a solid number of token creators, but nothing else really jumped out at me as being anything that this deck really just consistently does. And so I put that down. Just energy, tokens, and then I just charted the deck. And as I charted the deck, I got even more and more disappointed with it. This deck can do just about anything that you want. And that's not really, in my opinion, that's not really a good thing. And it can't actually do anything that you want. But if you look at the number of utility cards, right? In this deck, it has 31 utility cards. Now, I define this utility column as cards that don't fit in any of the other columns that are beneficial to the deck. And, like, cards with abilities that are tangentially related to what the deck is trying to accomplish, or that don't actually have anything directly to do with what the deck is accomplishing, but they're still useful. I put that stuff in the utility column here. But when I was coming up with these columns, I was having a really hard time because this deck doesn't do anything consistently enough. The tokens with the 6 is probably the most prolific secondary effect or secondary function of the deck next to energy counters. And if you look at energy counters, it's only 16 out of the 63 non-land cards, including the commander. Only 16 of them have anything to do with energy counters. And so it's not even really an energy counter deck, it's a utility deck. It just does all of the random things. And there's not even regularity to that utility. Everything that's in the utility, it does all sorts of random stuff. Nothing that you can rely on, nothing that you can really bank on. Um, so it is really hard to sit down with this deck and be like, this is how this deck functions and what it does. I honestly couldn't even tell you what it was supposed to do. There are a lot of cards that have to do with whenever you cast an artifact spell. Sorry. There are a lot of cards that are benefited or gain benefit from the number of artifacts that you have on the field. So, like, cards that are like power and toughness equal to the number of artifacts you control, or whatever the case is like that. There's a solid number of cards that roll like that, but, I mean, none of those cards take that and do anything consistent. Like, the result of what they take from the number of artifacts that you control is so all over the place and unreliable that you can't really take it and expect any consistency to the way that this deck is playing. And without that consistency, the deck just kind of will fall apart on you. Sorry, I'm rambling. I do not like this deck. I'm sure that people out there would be able to take this deck and play it and get a lot better results than I did, but I could barely get this deck to function in the slightest. The one game that I did win with it was just kind of, I happened to get enough damage to go through, and my opponent also only had two of their three colors that they were playing as far as mana goes, and it was a close game. So yeah, no, this deck just did not function for me. The two things that I can give this deck are the land balance and the converted mana cost. Converted mana cost is 3.2. That's pretty good. It's not super low to the ground, but at the same time, it's a lot lower than some of the higher ones that I've seen. And also, when you look at, we have 21 ramp cards in a 3.2 CMC deck. I mean, you should have no excuse for being unable to play things. Whether those things help you is irrelevant, but that very easy to accumulate enough mana to play most of your deck. So it's fairly reliable as far as early game goes and building up to being able to do things. It does that pretty quickly. You just can't build up to anything really specific. 14 legendaries in the deck, so that's always fun. Most of them are creatures. I believe one of them is a artifact, though. No planeswalkers, which is to be expected. Haven't seen any Fallout planeswalkers so far. 9 instants and 4 sorceries, so we do have a little bit of that in there. 22 creatures and 39 artifacts. Thing to keep in mind is that most of those creatures are also artifact creatures. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And so you'll see those numbers will double up. Some of those 22 also are counted as artifacts and vice versa. And a total of 5 enchantments. So there's not a whole lot of enchantments here. As far as the lands go, I was talking about how I can really give it I'm happy with the way that this deck's land balance went. If you look at the color ratio as far as the cards go, we got 24 blue devotion, 22 white devotion, and 18 red devotion in this deck. And then you flip over and you look at the land distribution up over here in the corner. We have 20 blue producing lands, 17 white producing lands, and 15 red producing lands. So this is a fairly good representation here. If it were me, I would probably pull 1 or 2 islands and switch them to mountains. But that is not, again, really not the end of the world. So, yeah, looking at the numbers, not impressed with this deck. Having played it, not very impressed with this deck. But let's take a deeper look into it. I'll show you what I mean. next video, I think I'll go through and do the artifacts of this deck. It'll be a little bit of a longer video. There'll be a link to that in the end credits reel here. But for now, let's go ahead and call it here. Like I said, we'll get into that deck list here just coming up. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Catch you next time.